Hello everyone. Are you interested in how an internal combustion engine works? This slidecast will present the four main processes of an engine and explain the supporting mechanisms that are involved for an engine to make power. By the end of this slidecast, you will have a general understanding of the four phases of an internal combustion engine. Before moving on, please familiarize yourself with the diagrams. We will be taking an in-depth look at intake and exhaust valves, which are going to be numbers 6 and 7 on the left diagram. We'll also be taking a look at the piston, which is number 9, the yellow in the middle, and we'll also be taking a look at the crankshaft, which is what the piston connects to, which is number 13, the purple at the bottom. And please familiarize yourself with the terms TDC and BDC. That stands for top deck center and bottom deck center. That refers to when the piston is at the very top of the cylinder and the bottom of the cylinder. So feel free to take your time now to pause the video and familiarize yourself with the mechanisms before moving on. Now that you've familiarized yourself with the mechanisms on the first slide, the first phase of an internal combustion engine is the intake phase. During the intake phase, the piston initially is in the TDC position at the top of the cylinder. The intake valve is open and the piston draws in fresh air into the cylinder along with a mixture of fuel. The intake phase is completed when the piston is in the BDC position at the bottom of the cylinder. The second phase of an internal combustion engine is the compression phase. The compression phase starts with the piston in the BDC position and both intake and exhaust valves closed. The piston moves upwards towards the TDC position. Since both valves are closed, the air-fuel mixture that was introduced during the intake phase gets condensed and pressurized as the piston gets closer to the TDC position. Just before the piston gets to the TDC position, the condensed air-fuel mixture is ignited. The third phase of an internal combustion engine is the power phase. The power phase starts directly after the compression phase, with the piston in the TDC position and the air-fuel mixture combusting. The combustion in the cylinder forces the piston down towards the BDC position and forcing the rotation of the crankshaft. This is the only phase of an internal combustion engine that makes power. The power phase ends with the piston in the BDC position. The exhaust phase occurs directly after the power phase and is the final phase of an internal combustion engine. The exhaust phase starts with the piston in the BDC position and the exhaust valve open. The power phase leaves the cylinder full of exhaust gases and unused fuel mixture. The exhaust phase clears those gases and prepares for the intake phase to start again. With the exhaust valve open, the piston moves towards the TDC position, forcing the exhaust gases out of the cylinder and into the exhaust tubes to exit the engine. The engine is now ready to repeat all four phases again to keep producing power. The diagrams on these slides will help visually represent what we've learned in the previous slides. Looking on the left, we can see phase 1, the intake phase, drawing in clean air along with the air-fuel mixture. During the compression phase, we can see the piston driving upwards towards the TDC position, compressing the air-fuel mixture. And then at the very end, we can see combustion. During the power phase, phase 3, we can see the piston being forced downward towards the BDC position, driving the rotational force to the crankshaft. Lastly, we see the exhaust phase. We see the piston returning to the TDC position, forcing the exhaust gases from the power phase out of the cylinder and getting into the position to repeat the intake phase. And on the diagram on the right, we can see what it looks like with a 4-cylinder or a V8 and all pistons moving simultaneously, repeating phases 1 through 4.